Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
I have been feeling weird.
In what way?
I don't know, I just feel like something's off.
Like what?
I don't know. It's just like, I don't know, just an off-putting feeling.
Off-putting. Well, get some Jello.
Pudding. Yeah.
Yeah. Get,
I actually wanted pudding the other day, but we had none. Anyway, what have you been doing?
I've been busy doing stuff. I've been getting into architecture, specifically
Oh,
Roman architecture when it comes to busts, tributes, monuments, and statues and stuff like that.
so you've been educating yourself.
No, it's a waste of time.
So, like, in what ways have you been getting into that then?
No, just looking at videos and stuff like that.
I mean, I still think that's educating yourself in a way.
I've been wanting to try and get into drawing and draw some of the things.
I used to want to draw, but whenever I would try, it looked really bad, so I just gave up completely instead of putting time and effort into it.
I had let's see. As a kid, yeah, I would always like to draw colors, stuff like that. Got to middle school and my sixth grade class. I started with art because I needed the credit and whatever. And I liked it so much that I stayed because my art teacher made art fun. Because like in high
Oh,
school, art isn't fun. I know because I went with my friend.
yeah.
But my teacher actually put some effort into it, and maybe because we're still kind of like kids. Well, I guess we were kids, so
A
can't do
younger kid.
anything. Yeah. Um. But I still have some of the stuff made, like a cardboard haunted mansion. I
What?
drew I drew an American flag with an eagle on it, and it's in my dad's room. I've just like stuff like that. I think I also have like a it's like this clay hand. It's like wet and then it dries after a while. So it's like
Oh.
faux like shit. Like a statue. So it's like of my hand, and it's like it's clay, but it feels like like stone, and it's also hard, and it also breaks very easily because one of the fingertips broke off.
You should have cut off a bit of your real fingertip.
That would be horrid.
So how was art classes in high school like?
Um. So I accidentally got into theater tech like in the
Your
junior year.
school had very specific classes and I don't understand.
So let me explain what theater tech is. So theater tech is basically like the behind the scenes, not like you're not actually acting, although you could have been like a background or something like that, um, or extra. But theater tech is like the sets and designing everything, like controlling the curtain and setting up the stages between the scenes and all that. I only stayed in there for one day, one day only, and because I accidentally got into it. Or wait, no, I think I might have been put into there, not accidentally. Like I wanted to do something else, but they put me in there.
Wait, so they
Um,
they switched your schedule that fast?
no, okay, so in my school, I don't know if it's because there's like so many people or what, but if one class gets filled up, but they just put you in like an extra class, because
Oh yeah.
like everyone has the core classes, right? Like English and math and whatever, automatically, and you do the shifts throughout the year. Um, but extra classes like are not quite set in stone. So like those are like the last things they do
Yeah.
organize. And so once like say I want to go into swimming. If that class gets filled up, I get automatically pushed into a like volleyball or something, or even completely something else like theater tech. But I got out there and I went to what did I went to? I got, but yeah.
I was in art in middle school,
Mm-hmm.
and it was seventh grade, and for some reason the my fellow seventh graders were talking about sex toys in class,
Mm-hmm.
and our teacher got mad at them, and she was like, "I didn't know what a dildo was until I was 20 years old. Why do you guys know that?"
Oh,
And
okay. Why is she even saying that?
I will never forget it. And she was like a 60-year-old woman. And she would always get mad at us because the class would talk about unimportant things instead of doing their work. And
Mhm.
just a 60-year-old woman talking about that
Well,
to a bunch
mine,
of 12-year-olds.
my art teacher wasn't that old, but she was old, and I have a suspicion that she was a lesbian. Looking back at it, which is no, nothing wrong. Uh,
What is your proof?
she kind of looked like it, mostly.
That's
Like
stereotypical.
stereotypical. That's how she looked. She looked stereotypical.
Oh, okay. I have to tell you something, but
Yeah.
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Anyway.
Like stereotypes, they just like fit into that role, and it didn't even like necessarily be like that. Like I can look down the street, see a guy who looks super Mexican, but he could be like from I don't know, from Connecticut, So
Yeah.
yeah, but another let's stay on school. I kind of want to just talk about that. Um, maybe I don't know, because like another thing I did was gardening, and that was like kind of like one of those clubs at school. One of the few clubs I actually did like extra. I never was in like in music or anything like that.
You had a
But
green thumb.
this, uh, actually, I wasn't there a lot of the time. I kind of like was there for this. Okay, so the my art teacher was the one that organized it, and the school, my middle school had a greenhouse that was like abandoned and stuff. So what she did, she went out of her way to repair it, like get new tiles and new wood, and get a lock for it. Like she bought with her own money a lock for the greenhouse, and she also brought like pots and the seeds and everything. She funded it herself. And the class initially started, or the club, it started with two students, and so it was me and some other girl, and
Oh,
eventually it grew because he teamed up with a class down the hallway, which was another club. I think it might have been like something with sewing or something or knitting. I'm not sure, but they teamed up and they when some of the girls over there or people guys because there was like two guys in there um came over like when they were done or whatever or like because there's only a certain amount of sewing machines and so like when they were waiting they would come down and help us with the garden and we had like a party at the end. We made like a salsa with the stuff we grew tomatoes, we grew jalapenos or hot peppers, whatever, and stuff like that. And
did you eat
yeah,
them?
I did. So I was there for the beginning, for like a couple of days, like the start of it. But when the actual growing and stuff happened, I got busy somehow, so I was gone most of the time. And I came back around the end. I was like, I popped in. They were like having the party, and they were like, "Oh, we grew these tomatoes." And I was like, "Oh, cool." And so,
Oh, so you ate their work.
hmm
Was it a good tomato at least?
yeah, it was good. You ever do any clubs or anything like that?
Um, Never clubs. The only thing I ever did was choir. Oh, yeah. Oh.
Choir.
I loved it the first. Well, because I first joined in 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really like it as much. Then I still continued on into freshman year, and that
Mm-hmm.
was the only time I ever did it. And well, the only time I ever really enjoyed it. And then sophomore year, I had to take a break because that year I had to take an extra math class because I was uh really bad at math. And then junior year, that's when I joined again, thinking, oh, since freshman year was so good, I'll enjoy it again. But it was so bad because since I had missed out on a year, I couldn't go with the people that I had been with. I had to go with the people in the grade below me. So it was people I didn't really know that well, and they would all talk bad about each other, and I just felt like the odd man out because they were just mean to each other, and I was just like, we're supposed to be a team, but I guess the team is just a fantasy.
Was it just like what off-putted you? Like it was just them, or was it like a combination of things?
I think it's just because like also I didn't like the teacher as well, so it's
Yeah.
like
Okay.
I feel like that kind of just ruined the love that I had for music at that time. Because
Mm-hmm.
obviously I still love music, but when you're trying to do something you love and the people around you aren't in it the same way you are, it just, yeah, I just lost it. So then senior year, I was like, I'm not doing this again. Bye. But yeah, like for the competition that we did, we had to drive like an hour out there to go to this other school, and I
Mm-hmm.
was alone on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting by myself, and we got a good score. So on the drive back to school, everyone was celebrating, and I wasn't even happy because like I just felt so alone, just sitting there by myself. And yeah, but good on us for getting a good score even with like the bad teamwork.
Mm. Sounds like something out of Pitch Perfect, or the opposite, or something like that. I don't know.
Bad Amy.
I was thinking more of the quiet one, the one that throws up. Or no, no, she doesn't throw up. She like does a
No.
snow angel in the throw up in one of the movies.
Are you talking about the girl with the bangs?
Yeah, yeah, the bangs,
I
the crazy one, or quiet. I don't know.
don't even remember.
Um, what's it called? Yeah, the same thing happened to my sister with orchestra. She was in middle school and she loved it, and it was due to her teacher a lot because she didn't have like any friends in there either. In high school, she kind of lost the passion, and she said she thinks it was the teacher because she after high school she would go back to middle school just to visit the teacher at her orchestra one. So yeah.
You know, I still see people doing that, but I never had a good relationship with the teacher to want to go back to school. Even this one teacher who I would sit I would sit in her classroom for lunch, and she like weirdly knew so much about me, like even who my crush was. And then like but even after that year ended, I just felt weird going back since she wasn't my teacher anymore.
Ever have any like inappropriate teachers?
Not myself, but other people that I know have, yeah.
Because okay, so I think we had two. One in like one in middle school and one in high school. Now the one in middle school, I didn't actually have her as a teacher. It was a female. Um, but she would, I don't know, she would hang out with like the students a lot. Like she would like she did this in secret. Like once the principal found out, they stopped it. So there was nothing wrong either. So she would let students, like certain students, come into her classroom and eat lunch there. Like just it was just nothing, right?
Hmm.
Um, but she wasn't allowed to do that because like she didn't ask for permission first of all, whatever protocols, or she wasn't set to like, oh, Um, yeah, if students don't want to eat in the cafeteria, they can come to your class. You know, she just, I don't know, went under the radar. And and there was rumors in the school that if you go to her Facebook page, that you can find pictures of her in her underwear,
What?
in like lewd positions. I never checked for myself, but all the boys would talk about it. And she was also young. That was another key point. She was like in her 20s, and she was pretty. Um, but yeah, after that, I don't know, cause like and I never had her, so I had no idea. This is all secondhand information.
Oh my god.
But by the end of that year, her first year, she was gone. So I don't know.
So you think something happened,
Yeah,
or?
because I mean, if the students, I mean, usually the students are like the last people to find out shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, so like, you know, if kids knew, or had rumors about this teacher, there must have been something going on. But the other teacher, now this teacher I did not have, but my sister had. Um, it was also a female teacher,
Oh, female
and
predators.
now this one was a rumor, um, that she was messing around with boy students, like more than one, plural, and she was caught with condoms in her purse.
Oh no.
And that's the end of the story.
But she continued being a teacher there?
um, I don't know. This one I just heard from my sister. I was gone by then, from high school.
I remember this one time our teacher, I don't know how this got brought up, but he told us how like a few years before a teacher there had gotten fired because he was having relationships with a student. And I don't know why he would tell us that though.
That's the most common story I hear. Like, so it surprised me too. That like these two situations involved a woman, female teacher, but usually the stories is that it's a male teacher with a female student, and usually the student gets pregnant, or the
Mhm.
teacher gets arrested or fired, or something happens. But it's usually the same story: man and girl, kind of thing going on. And he's either like like the only thing that does change is like, which people don't ever find out. It's like why they're doing it. Was it love? Was it like leverage or something like that? And that point always changes. So it's interesting to like see what's going on, because usually it's leverage, but sometimes it's the girl who wants the teacher. But I don't know why. Like, I don't know. It's weird. We've talked about it with like women dated old men, but like that's different. Like, why? They're old and they're gonna die. They probably have money,
Yeah.
but like, I don't know. It's weird. Maybe I don't know. It's like, I don't know. Maybe like they find them like attractive, and yeah, maybe a teacher would have a little bit of money,
I
but
mean, I remember in 6th grade I had a crush on my teacher, but of course I knew that was inappropriate.
hmm
I remember this one time I had hand sanitizer that was scented and I put some on and he started complaining about the smell and I got sad. But there's also this other story of it was towards the end of senior year and this guy in my class he was telling me how his girlfriend was Snapchatting her teacher. And he was like, "Why are you doing that? That's weird." And the girl like didn't think it was weird at all. And then a few weeks later, the teacher ends up gone. After he had been there for years, he's all of a sudden gone. And it was towards the end of the year, so like I don't know if he just left early, like I don't know, but he just left. So I feel like he got in trouble because why are you messaging your students?
Hmm. I've heard stories like that too. Like teachers. That's why there's a rule about it too. That teachers are not supposed to have like students' contact info in any way or form. Like this is like academic. Um, but if it's a social thing, then no, it's completely wrong. And that's why a lot of teachers actually have to hide their identity on the internet because sometimes students look for them. You know, it's
Oh,
yeah.
I found my choir teacher's Twitter account,
Hmm.
and it's only because she had said, "Oh, the Jimmy Fallon official
Uh,
official account retweeted my picture." So then I went on like going through like Jimmy,
That's Jimmy
yeah,
Fallon.
yeah. So I found her that way. But I had my Spanish teacher's phone number for some reason, and I still have it. But
Was it?
she would just be like she had her phone number on the board, and she would just be like, "Text me if you're gonna be late to class or if you're absent." Like,
No, no, I think
okay.
that's fine. Because like you really need the teacher to know whatever reason. But
Yeah,
they
but
say the
I wonder how many of those conversations have progressed into something more though.
I don't know. Probably it was probably in Spanish. Um, but usually they say to call the front office, like say, "Hey, I'm gonna be late," because that's what I had to do a few times when I was running late for whatever reason. Um, I forgot the name of the person specifically, but in my school, we had a person whose job was to keep track of every student who skipped, missed, or whatever reason. And me and her became best of friends because I was always, skipping class. um, so she would always like every. It was so often that she would set a schedule for me and a few other kids too. Um, so like in the main office, there would be like a bunch of kids sitting on couches or chairs in a line waiting to see her, and it was for me. It was like every Wednesday. By the end of the year, um, and I'll go in, I'll talk to her, and I'll tell her, I would lie to her, of course, saying like, "Oh, I was in this class or whatever," helping students or teachers, whatever,
So you
when
got
I
away with
really
it?
Yeah, well, at first, I didn't know what to do, so I would kind of like admit it, and I knew I had a short leash because like there's only a certain amount of days you can like miss or skip or whatever, and so I would have to come up with stuff, and I'm pretty sure she knew I was lying, but as long as she had something to write down, I think she was cool with it, like if the school saw like, oh, I was still on campus, whatever, then it's fine. Um,
Yeah.
my school is guilty of passing students who don't deserve it. I don't know. No, I don't know if that's to make them look good or whatever. Um, because I was a bad kid. Like when it came to like grades and stuff, I would get like at highest B's, which is passing, of course. But most of the times it was like D's and C's, which is still passing, but not so good. My sister was a
See?
different case. She would completely skip assignments, and she would skip way more than me, and they still passed her. And we think that she shouldn't have been passed. Um, no, that's just a small case between me and my sister, but I'm pretty sure it happened. What the fuck is that? I think someone's shooting off fireworks.
I keep forgetting it's almost the 4th of July. But
Yeah.
I only ever failed one class, and I got to make it up within 2 weeks just by doing an online course.
Mm.
And
Oh, huh.
I looked up every question.
Hmm.
So that's how I was able to make up the credit. And then I just continued to cheat my way through the class.
Yeah, well, everyone cheats. It's fine. I think because back then I tried doing that as a kid, search up stuff on the internet, like 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 the answers. But back
Mhm.
then the internet wasn't like so cohesive. Like you couldn't like type in a question and stuff that would pop up. Back then you really had to work for it. Nowadays it's easier just to find things,
Yeah,
which
it's
is kind of bad.
but like all that work with trying to look it up, like just might as well learn it. That's faster.
No, I mean, I'm saying like it's easier to do that now than back then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like you can find it right away instead of like dig through it. But what class was it that you almost failed?
It was calculus.
Yeah, math was probably my better subjects. Um, for me, even though I didn't understand any of it.
Uh,
You know,
how are you good at it?
I don't know. I just kind of just worked out the problems. You know, but like I would have a hard time showing my work. Like I knew the
Mm,
answer, but like the teacher would always want me to show my work. So that I would like write down the answer, go back, and that would be like most of the time is like writing down how I did it, basically.
it
Um, and
showing
it
your
wasn't,
work was part of the grade.
yeah, it wasn't like that all the time, but for like a good couple handful of answers, like I could tell by doing it in my head. Um, but my only class I almost flunked was first grade. I didn't even know you could, almost flunk that, but I had to go to summer school to make it up.
Imagine if you did though, and you would have been a grade behind me.
My friend, my best friend Isaiah, he actually flunked, and he had a twin brother who passed. So it was extra bad for him because like his brother was a grade ahead of him, and they're twins. So
A taco taco.
yeah.
My brother, he's starting school this fall, and he just keeps talking about buying school supplies and how he's excited to take lunch school.
Well, that's good. I mean, when I started, I cried the first day.
So did I.
Does he? He probably doesn't realize that he's gonna be alone, is he? Wait, so is it gonna be like an actual place? Like, is it gonna be open? Like like the kids are going to school again?
Yeah, they're not allowing online at all anymore.
Okay. No, no. Okay, so here's my other question. You probably don't know this, but because like education has really expanded, so like kids his age are actually learning things now. They're not just it's not basically like a daycare anymore. They're actually learning things. And your brother already knows a lot. Like he knows math and how to read. At that age, I just I didn't know how to do any of those. You know. Um, so at this point, your brother is smarter than me when I was his age, and now like I know they're teaching multiplication to like second graders or third graders now, which is crazy. I didn't learn multiplication until like fifth grade. So yeah, I know it's like just 2 years difference or 3 years, but you know,
It makes a difference.
yeah, it's different. Like they're teaching them sooner, more and more, and like they're giving kids technology more and more. I remember it was like fifth grade when I finally got on a computer for like a assignment of some sort. Nowadays, they're giving kids like tablets to take home. So we really have involved when it came to education. Now let's just see if the education works.
Yeah, yesterday we went to the store and the price on this toy said 249 and he said, "Oh, it's 250, $250." And I was like, "Oh, he knows how to round up." It's like I didn't think about that as a kid.
Oh yeah, yeah. I did. When I finally learned about money, I was probably like in third grade ish.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
even then, like I didn't understand the importance of it.
Yeah. I remember I wanted a $2 ice cream from the ice cream man one time.
Man, I miss the ice cream truck.
He doesn't come around that often in my neighborhood. Maybe because he comes like around like the middle of the day, not like in the afternoons. But
Yeah.
once in a while, he does come around in the afternoons. When I'm around, you know. Um, I used to get what's it called? Fucking chicharrones with the sauce.
Oh yeah.
I don't like the cheese. The cheese is like too powdery or something, you know. I mean, I know it's powdered cheese, but it's too powdery, you know.
Eating like crushed up chalk.
Yeah, it's not even like real chicharrones. It's like chips or something, right? Like, because it's like different. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's called the same thing, but like it's like a different texture.
Yeah, totally. Maybe it's just like a cheaper kind, you know.
I used to get those vanilla cones with the chocolate and the peanuts on top that you could just buy
Hmm.
at the grocery store for like the same price with the whole pack.
Yeah, you can
But
buy a whole box.
but I don't know why I like those so much.
Nutsos are called.
Whoa, nuts.
For a long time, SpongeBob was the only ice cream I ever got. You know, like the gumball eyes and
Oh,
all that.
yeah.
Yeah, my sister would get Dora, and then SpongeBob later on.
Spider-Man.
Spider Man, I got that one too. So I what's it called? Got into an audiobook called was it The Goblin King. It's like a fantasy story, and it was pretty epic. It was a short story, maybe like 2 3 hours long. It was audiobook, right? I said that. Um, so it was pretty short. And so you ever seen that show Yu-Gi-Oh?
No, but I've heard of it.
So Yu-Gi-Oh is like a card game, right? That you play. So that's basically what the book was. It was these people who had like, but instead of cards, it was like actual monsters that they controlled. But it was the same premise. And following this guy who died and went into this other world, and this other world, um, you know, was full of like fantastical creatures and stuff. Because like he came from our world, and he when he died, he was reincarnated into this magical world, and he basically goes around. He finds like friends along the way, and the whole story ends with a big, super duper fight with a bunch of monsters just everywhere, right? And yeah, it's just I don't know. It was very interesting because I don't know. It was fantasy, and it was like it was something I never
Mm-hmm.
experienced before. Harry Potter Fantastical Beasts. It was basically like that, but except the guy controlled the beasts and stuff. I don't know.
How did you find the book?
On audiobook, the app. I use the app. Just found it looking through like genres,
Ooh.
fantasy.